Hi, dear audience. This is Wilton Benedict, and today we will review a short fairy tale known as The Princess and the Pea. It was written by Hans Christian Andersen and published in the booklet Tales Told for Children in 1835. But do you know what is this story about? Let me help you. This is a story about a prince and his search for a princess to marry. However, he's in a lot of trouble, since the princesses that he has met are not as refined as he wants, until one rainy day, when a princess came to the prince's castle claiming to be a real princess. In this case, the prince's mother will test her. How? She places a pea in the bed and covers it by using huge mattresses and feathered beds. Then, the prince's mother offers the princess to sleep in the bed until the following day. In the morning, the princess was asked how she had slept, and she claimed to have a horrible and sleepless night. She even had a bruise in her back. With that as a proof, the prince marries the princess. But is this the actual real story? According to the Milos 2009, Andersen claims to have heard this story in his childhood. On the other hand, Holbek 1990 concluded that the princess in the pea does not come from the Danish oral tradition, the place where Andersen lives. So where Siege 2008 might have identified the original story, which is actually from Sweden. It can be found in this Swedish folk tale collection from 1844, and it is known as the palace that stood on golden pillars. In other versions, it's known as the cat palace. It is actually way bigger and different than Andersen's version. With this in mind, has the story aged well? Let's take a closer look to some adaptations made among time. One of the first adaptations comes from Ernst Touch in his opera version of The Princess and the Pea. It was first performed in 1927 and has been performed since then in many Austrian theaters. Once Upon a Waitress was first a musical comedy theater first performed in 1959 in Broadway. It was such a hit that was adapted for TV audiences by US television in 1964. The Princess and the Pea was also included in Shelley Duvall's fairy tale theater anthology. It was released in 1984 as the second episode of the third season.
Thank you, Majesty, but my other accommodations were just dandy.
Nonsense!
Princess and the Pea was animated into a musical fantasy film released in 2002 and published in English, but production was shared between the United States and Hungary. The movie was inspired by the original story but features a new whole plot with several new characters. Finally, a TV movie based on The Princess and the Pea was released in 2010. It was produced by the RBB German Institute. Like the adaptations previously mentioned, it is a retelling from the original story featuring a different plot. And that is just a brief review of the many, even thousands of adaptations made from the original Andersen story. Thank you for watching.